Hey everybody, good morning. It's early. I know it's 6 a.m. here in Iowa, and just getting ready to go do my long run. You can see I got my gear on. This Live Uncommon race team represents getting it done. And so today, this is part 3. In part 1 and part 2, we talked about the how we want to improve and the what of what we want to improve. Part 3, I really think is the most important. A topic that has been covered thousands of times, but why do you want to improve? And I'm not going to give you a summarized version of it. Simon Sinek in his book Start With Why, because many of you have already read that. But what I want you to think about when we talk about why is why are we doing these things? Because when the road hits the pavement and things get difficult, and we are on this journey of life or reaching some plateau that we haven't hit before, what is that we're going to do? The why keeps you motivated when things get difficult. The why keeps you motivated when you don't really want to do something, when it's easy to build those excuses. It keeps you going. It helps build that discipline when things become tedious. Now, this is easy to talk about, and I'm going to openly admit, in this marathon training this week, I'm supposed to get 40 miles in. But I went back to Indiana on a last-minute trip with my family. It took 2 days where I should have ran, I could have ran, but I didn't. So I missed out on 2 easy runs, which is going to cost me. It's going to cost me time. It's going to cost me redeveloping my effort. It's not a lost cause because I got my tempo run in, I got my sprint workout, and I'm getting my long run in here in about 45 minutes. But all those little baby steps, I had to remember the why. Why am I doing this? And I gave myself a setback. I didn't take care of my diet. And so now, last night, I had to go back. What's my why? It's not to hit a goal to say I can run a marathon or have a new PR, even though those are things in my mind that I'm looking for. The why is to live longer, to be healthier, to lead an example for my children and for my wife. Those aren't goals. Those are the why to everything that I'm doing. One of the things that I think often doesn't get discussed when we talk about why, if you really think about this, and this is what I think is the most important thing that I wanted to bring out today in this part 3 of why, is so many times people can give why. Well, this is why I'm doing it. This is my why. But it feels forced. When I coach youth sports, you know, we always talk about, well, why are we working hard every day? Why are we doing these drills, these repetitive fundamental skills? And the kids tell you, I want to win a state championship. I want to be undefeated this season. All these goals, but I don't know that it's always self-motivating. And so the thing that I want to remind everybody today here is the why has to be your why. It can't be somebody else's why. It's got to be yours. And so many times our why is for somebody else's reason. My best friend wants me to, my wife or my husband wants me to, or whatever, my coach. It's got to be internal. It's got to be this intrinsic why of why we're doing it, or it doesn't feel good. And when we're grinding out, it's tough to do, you know. And so that's what we got to think about today. I'm getting back on the bandwagon. I'm about to run 14 miles. It's the longest I have ran in several years. I think my last longest run was in 2014. I ran 13. And so this is going to be a new plateau for me at my age, at my health and fitness levels and everything. And so I've got to keep pushing on, you know, and I keep going back to this quote that Vince Lombardi has stated. It's been used so many times, but he says, once you learn to quit, it becomes a habit. And I'm not quitting. I got a setback. I didn't do my 2 4-mile runs. It's a setback. But I got to keep going. And so one of the things about running, and you can apply this to whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life here, is when I'm out there running today, I'm going to be out running for a couple hours, I get that disassociative thinking. I can clear my mind out, and I start to realize the whys to a lot of things that I'm doing. Why am I doing this in school? Why am I doing this for my job? Why am I doing this with my family or my time that I have? And I'm really trying to look at, do I have a good why? And if I don't, now I need to have the courage and the strength to bounce out of that and say, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's what's hard, because we live in a society today where we feel pressured to perform all the time. That pressure in our jobs, that if we make one mistake, we're done, we're going to lose our job, we're not going to be the breadwinner anymore. The pressure to be the best parent we can be, the best coach we can be, the best husband, the best wife. You know, we're going to have a bigger, better house, nicer car than everybody. There's always this pressure all the time, and it feeds and it spreads. It spreads into how we parent, and sometimes we grind our kids too much, or the pressure that I went in the classroom, and we're grinding our students too much. And we have to learn to kind of deal with that. We have to learn how to depressurize ourselves, which is things we're going to be talking about here in future episodes. But with all that going on, we have to manage the pressure. And this is what I think is pretty important, that even when we manage the pressure, even when we set these goals, even when we understand the why, it doesn't always lead to success. We have to remember that the best that we can do is our best. And sometimes that's not good enough. If you watched the U.S. Olympic trials yesterday, you saw the 2012 gold medalist in the hurdles not qualify. He gave the best that he had, and he was 1/100th of a second short from making it to the next step. He's got to reevaluate his why. He's got to rethink through these things of why he does what he does, all that training to not make it by 1/100th of a second. That's a tough one to stomach. And so the best that we can offer may not be good enough. But that's the risk that we're willing to go, because when it is, there is no better feeling. That's what we've got to focus on here, people. And so today I'm going to go do this run. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be enjoyable, but there are things that we are doing that are not fun, but we do it because it trains the brain. It prepares us for our adventure. For me, it'd be sitting in math class or calculus. For you, it might be something else in school. The things that maybe we don't enjoy, doing chores if you're a kid. The idea there is we're doing it because it trains the brain. It provides us discipline. How do we handle things that we're not good at? How do we handle things that are not enjoyable? Doing these runs throughout the weeks build my body, my framework, my base to allow me to push myself to see, is my best version of myself good enough? And the only way I'm going to know that is by pushing and challenging myself to find out. And it may be. It may not be. I don't know if I can finish a marathon. I don't know. But we're going to find out. Now, with that, if something is uncomfortable or unbearable, it should not be the goal how we evaluate whether something should be done. I know today I'm going to be sore, but just because it hurts doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. And with that comes one more piece before I lock out of here. The most important pivotal piece is you're pushing to see the best version of yourself and determining whether or not that's good enough. You cannot compare yourself to others. You've got to focus on just you and who you are. That's all that matters. There's 6 guys right now running at our high school track. Been running for 24 hours. Been running since 2 p.m. yesterday. I can't compare myself to them. I'm comparing myself to right now, about to go run the longest distance I've done in several years. That's huge. Today's a big day for me. These guys probably got 40, 50 miles in. They've been running 16, 17 hours now. We're getting ready for a Leadville, 100-mile run in the mountains. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's motivational. But I can't complete my 14-mile run today and then get back in my car and go, oh, that wasn't very good. These guys ran 50, 60, 70 miles. I can't do that. So as you're pushing, you got to just focus on yourself. See where you're at. Let the journey take care of it. And that's what we're after. And so the formula for success, guys, hasn't changed. If I could break it down into running terms, just putting my feet on the pavement, bending my knees, and one step forward. Same thing with life, baby steps. You got to understand, like we talked about part 1, the what. What is it that you're trying to do for your growth? Part 2, the how. How are you going to develop your growth. Part 3 now is understand the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? That's what we're after. That's what you got to focus on, and I think it's the most important. If you're procrastinating on your goals, if you need coaxing to get the chores done, the small tedious tasks done, if you're performing your duties just to get by, if you're talking negatively about the work, do you need effort of your friends to encourage you? Do you start small projects and then abandon them? Or if you avoid the self-improvement opportunities, the training and learning from others, if you're doing those things, then you need to reevaluate your why. And so that's what I want you to think about today. What's your why? What are you doing it for? Why? And really making sure you understand that. Write that down. Absorb that. Be part of that. And own that. And if you can't come up with an answer, you need to rethink what you're doing. All right. This is Coffee Chug. That's my why. I got to get rolling. Got to get down to the park. Get with my people. Surround myself by greatness. There's going to be 60, 70 people of greatness. They're ready to hammer out 14 miles today. And I got to be a part of this. That's what we do to get by. So, tomorrow is part 4, knowing when you're supposed to improve. Once you got the why, the how, and the what, when does this improvement actually start? Because that's a tough one. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. And until tomorrow, make sure you keep working hard to get it done.